So it's the end of the month and you know what that means. Another bullet journal spread, and this time again I've combined the whole month with the weeklies and the monthlies and the trackers and the cover, everything into one video, so you've got it all together now. This month's themes are maps because at my job I'm learning a program for drawing maps, so I thought, why not? I always loved maps, I'm still in love with maps, and I love to draw them digitally and traditionally. So here are some fun weeklies and a lot of different spreads that I hope will spread your horizons. Let's get into it. When I decided on a theme and finished with the title of the month and the little calendar, I sketched a little island for the cover. It's drawn in an illustration style like watercolor maps usually are. I wanted to try to draw a map like this since COVID, when we did our culinary and virtual world travel with kids. It was mainly food oriented, to be honest. I cooked foods from a specific region and we changed it every week. I wanted to draw a map of every country we visited, in quote marks, but that never happened, so the idea just stayed in my mind like so many others. But now I get to play around with it. I have always liked maps, and so does my one and only, but our kids couldn't care less. When we did our virtual travel, we stared at the atlas late at night in bed, really nerdy, and they couldn't get what's so fascinating about them. But now that I get to learn ArcGIS for my work, drawing maps seemed appropriate. I always like to take inspiration from my quote-unquote real life, and perhaps this will motivate me to learn the program better. Or if all fails, at least I'll be able to tell my colleagues and my boss that I do know how to draw a map, just not the kind that he'd like to see. Yes, my silly humor sometimes gets me out of trouble, and probably more times it gets me into trouble. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you posted. I hope I won't need it this time. As for the island, it's not any real island, I just drew a shape with rugged edges. They all look like islands this way. And if you're struggling with drawing maps, I'll show you a neat trick that I saw on Pinterest the other day and just had to try it. You'll see it in my last weekly spread, so stay tuned. For the monthly, I sketched a world map and just drew the dailies onto it. I didn't even look at the world map when I was drawing this map, so it's not exactly accurate, but come on. You know what's it about, and it will be all written over, so it doesn't matter that much. Whenever I'm painting water, I add the dark blue at the shore, even though I know in reality it's vice versa, but this makes the contrast much better. And when I'm painting land, I keep it ochre and add a touch of brown to the edges to emphasize them, and because that kind of emulates the look of old maps. This does mean that you have to go over one area multiple times, so be gentle with your strokes if your paper is not watercolor paper. Mine isn't, but handles water pretty well. Now here's the spread where I'll put everything I need to remember, or some list, or whatever I need to do, because sometimes months need some idea page like this. On the other side, I'm drawing a circular tracker. I added a compass into it so it feels more map-like. And I haven't really decided what I'm gonna track. So I left that part blank, as you can see. I'm adding some details to the compass just to make it stand out more from the page. And of course, the north, south, east and west, like every proper map should have. Well, just the north would suffice, but I like it this way better. Nothing particularly new here, but I like how this spread turned out. I love the look of circular tracker, but I have hard time using them. But they look so cool, I keep giving them another chance. Anybody else like this, falling for the pretty? I drew a banner with a scene from nature in the middle, a small ancient map in the left, and dailies all around. This was heavily inspired by an art journal page I saw on Pinterest, and it's nothing really new, but it's very easy to draw and kind of fun. My first weekly is usually like the first pancake. It's not the best, but it gets the message across and I will use it for 1 week, so it doesn't really matter. My second weekly is a big ancient map with a compass rose in the left. Drawing maps is really easy because you just need to draw a shaky line and it looks good. Here you can embrace any shake your hand is prone to make. Painting was done in the same manner as before, just the upper part of the map is darker. I really enjoyed painting the compass rose a lot. I could make an art journal page with different designs of compass roses. That would be fun. The third weekly is inspired by city maps where you have a big river flowing from one end to the next and the city monuments and parks drawn in. The layout is vertical and Sunday and Saturday are separated by the river. This one is really hard to mess up. It's so easy. Draw whatever you like. It doesn't have to be real. It's your bujo, not an exact town or place. You can even use stamps if you like. Now it's time to show you my little trick that I was talking about earlier. I started the last spread with a banner in the corner and then drew my map with some help from the kitchen. If you're a bit intimidating by drawing imaginary maps, spread some rice on your page and just trace the outline of the grains. I added some titles for the weeklies and painted them the same way as before. Ochre for the land with dark brown edges and blue for the water. Prussian blue and ochre colors that I'm using throughout for my maps. Easy peasy, right? And now the final flip through. I really like my monthly and the tracker for March. I hope you find an idea or two useful so you can try them when you get the chance. And if you don't get the chance soon, don't worry. Sometimes these ideas sit for a couple of years, but that doesn't mean it's anything wrong with that. I like to think of them like marinating. Usually marinated food is better, so why wouldn't it work for ideas as well? I know it's all rationalization because I don't get to do everything I want in the moment, but hey, we all need some good coping mechanisms, right? And this one doesn't hurt anyone. If you want more tricks like this, do subscribe and I hope to see you next week with some nature journaling. See you then and bye bye!